Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages and non-binary, I'm your host Dominic, aka Jurassic Parker, and thank you again for watching BearatNight podcast. I have a wonderful, awesome, dope guest that's a blast from the past. That if you're in my age group, you know this guy. You watched his movies like 100 times, for real, like definitely. If you watch the Disney Channel, you know they played it 100 times. My TV was always on the Disney Channel, so I've definitely watched this movie about more than that. I just forget it. Brandon Baker, aka Jonny Tsunami, is here in the building. Thank you so much, bro.
Yeah,
hopping on here. It's been a get of mine for a while, and it's like, yeah, it was on the list. I don't know if it can happen, but we here, and I'm surprised, and I'm very grateful that you hop on, man. This is really dope, man, and I appreciate you. How are you feeling today? How you doing?
Doing great, man. Thank you for the kind welcome. So glad you feel that way, and so happy to be here, man. Yeah, I'm shooters got to shoot. I'm glad you reached out, and here we are, you know?
Yeah, man. I love doing this type of thing because I feel like, we have a lot of actors and actresses that get on TV and movies, and, some of them, they step away from the camera and whatnot, or they still continue doing roles and everything. But, a lot of times we give our flowers to those when they're passed. So I feel like, I would like to dedicate this show more so to give it to the people while they're here, especially if they make a big impact. And you, sir, have made an impact on a lot of people. I will say, you may not know, but I know you have. And, you have people all over that know who you are, and, you've done a movie or a show a few years ago, but you never know who you might impact and what impression you put on people. And for you, I've been a fan. I've watched Punks and what is it? One World. That was one of my favorite shows.
Nice. Wow, great.
One World. Yes. Yeah. I was upset when it was over.
Hey, man. That was an awesome show.
Yeah, and it was like, see, I go to deep cuts. I'm a deep cut guy, so I like the deep cuts. And One World was right there with City Guys and Hang Time. Now people forget about the NBC Saturday morning stuff, live action. Not me. I watched everything. So especially because I didn't have cable, so I had to watch everything at the time. But definitely One World was a great show. And it shows something different that was out there at the time. And then you had Jonny Tsunami, of course. We all know that. You did The Jungle Book. You did plenty of roles. You did even Stevens and whatnot. Bro, you have a catalog. You have a catalog of great stuff that people can actually share with their kids to this day. And it's still relatable. And to this day, I still say, go big or go home. It's still one of the saying that I still say. I will give you a little story right quick before we go. Yeah. My grandmother watched me watch your movie so much, right? Jonny Tsunami, that we had this store called Cow Doors that was going into business. I come home. No, actually, she leaves out. I'm already home. She's like, hey, there's something in the car. I got something for you. Go get it. I'm like, okay, whatever. Not thinking anything of it. I go downstairs, go in the car. It's a snowboard.
No way.
It's a little snowboard in the car. Grandma hooked me up with a snowboard. She would know that I was watching your movie so much, and it was just on. So Grandma got me the snowboard, and I literally don't know how to do a snowboard, but at the same time, watch your movie and also mimicking the moves on the snowboard until it got cold enough to do it. But then art imitating life didn't really work that way. for me. And it didn't end well. It didn't. I'll try to go down this hill. Yeah, I think my snowboarding career was done and over with within like a day. and that snowboard was just sitting in the corner in my room for a very long time.
Hey, we know who we are. We gave it a shot.
We tried.
Everything is for everybody.
We tried. We tried. And one of the things also was funny about Jonny Tsunami and then a lot of the shows at the time, it was coming through like the extreme time.
Yeah,
everything was extreme. So, you had your show, you had your movie, then you had Brink, and so it's like this is the time everybody was trying to go extreme. Mm-hmm. So
X Games was like brand new, all that stuff.
Yeah, everything got caught up into that.
Shout out to your grandma, by the way.
Thank you. She was the heart. She was my heart. But yes, definitely. Thank you. So I'd like to start by what got you. Like, what was the foundation to get you into the acting world? Like, when you got there, like, because you started young, you started really young, and you don't get a lot of child actors that, didn't go through the, that Hollywood stuff that happens, and and you pretty much looks like you escaped that, pretty much, which is great, and I'm happy for you too as well. What got you into the world of acting? Kind of luck and happenstance.
A thorough deep dive by you, like some deep cuts, like One World. That's one of those things where like I was on One World at the time. I was on a TV show on NBC, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be like one of the biggest things I'm ever going to do.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things that people know me for like the least. So shout out to you for being like deep in your bag.
Dude, it was a great show. You had what's her name from All That in there, and
Lisa Reyes.
There's certain shows that I watch and actors that I know from shows that are like, oh, that's the person from this movie, or this the person from this show, and I can't think of her name. The girl, the Asian woman that was in the show.
Michelle Kruchek, I think.
Yes, after that show, I was like, oh, I saw her in something. Oh, this is the girl from One Girl. Oh, this. Yeah. It just happens. It's snowball. So that it's a deep cut for me. I'm a nerd, man.
No, it's all good. It's the same thing for me. Basically, I got One World because I was a guest star on City Guys. And City Guys was a great show. A show that I absolutely loved. And specifically, this kind of goes to show how small Hollywood kind of was at the time, or like the industry. But like because I did City Guys, I knew kind of the producers of that show, but I also got introduced to Dion Bosco, who is one of the cats.
Dante Bosco, right, brother?
Dante Bosco's brother, exactly. Yeah. So I met Dion through that, who's Filipino, I'm part Filipino. But through that, I'm like, oh God, he's one of the Bosco brothers, because Dante Bosco, was in Hook and Rufio, and later was on, Avatar: The Last Airbender, that sort of thing. And then even when Jonny Tsunami came around, Dion Bosco, the guy who was on City Guys, was one of the other guys who's going up for that lead role against me. So it was like, and me and him are boys. And like, I remember seeing him in the audition room, and that's kind of what it just like felt like back then, of like, oh, there wasn't this like, specifically, I guess, talking about City Guys, talking about Jonny Tsunami, talking about One World.
Right.
Those were diverse shows with diverse ethnic parts, right?
Yes.
Like where you had a bunch of different people from a bunch of different walks of life, where I was able to actually play a specific ethnicity, generally speaking, rather than like just the best friend, right? Or just the love interest. Like, no, you're gonna actually be like a partially Asian dude. You're gonna be a Hispanic dude, or we're gonna make a point to at least have a larger showcase of different people from different backgrounds. It was really cool to be a part of all that. Going back to your question of like how I got into it, it was pretty happenstance. So I grew up in Southern California, and used to do Polynesian dancing with my family.
Okay.
My dad was a drummer. My mom, she danced. My sister danced. I danced. We competed in competitions. It was just a big part of like the culture that we grew up in Southern California, in Orange County. Yeah, and I had a bunch of, aunties and uncles, not actual blood aunties and uncles, but they were Hawaiian and Samoan and Tahitian and Maori. And in this, this community that we had out there, there was a girl who, and I guess there's a few people who did a movie called Rapa Nui, and it was a movie back in the day about Easter Island, and she was about my age, and she had like a speaking part of the movie. Anyway, basically, long story short, her family were family friends with us. Eventually, my mom asked me, my brother and sister, "Hey, do you want to like try this acting thing? Maybe get a commercial to help pay for college." We all gave it a shot. I happen to be like decently good at it and honestly lucky. And I was like a pretty competitive kid. Like I loved, I don't know, being good at whatever I was doing or trying hard, whether that's like, dance, but also sports. So I was a pretty like competitive kid. And I thought of acting kind of like sports, like you're playing hockey, loving basketball. And so it's like, okay, well, when I'm in this audition room, I'm going to try to like beat this kid across from me, And I remember being in those audition rooms, and because I lived in Orange County, I lived about an hour outside of where a lot of my auditions would be. And a lot of the kids that I was auditioning against were kids who have like flown in from like Texas, or maybe they moved for pilot season, from like, New York. And so they're like living in LA with their parents for like 3 months. And all the kids would like know each other from these different acting classes. And I would show up and not know anybody. And in my own little competitive, like sociopathic way in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm going to kill this other kid against me. But I mean, I grew up loving movies. I grew up just a big, movie head and TV head. I always loved like doing accents and stuff like that. I wasn't one of those kids that was like, oh, I'm going to be in plays and I want to be famous. It wasn't that for me. That honestly wasn't what interests me. I think the thing that interests me about acting was, I don't know, kind of embodying someone different. It was a way to be someone else. Be transported in that way. And I love that aspect of it because it really like broadened my world. I didn't think that at the time, but when I look back, I'm like, oh, that's the thing that I was really interested in. It was like connecting with people, getting to know characters, and honestly just being close to movies, because movies were the thing that I just loved.
Wow. I was seeing you do your work and stuff, and you coming out at the time. You had the look that you had was like a kind of like a racially ambiguous type of thing. You could be anything if you wanted to. Like they could kind of put you into any type of role. Like, if you want to be Hispanic or you want to be Asian or whatnot, Hawaiian, you could do it all, because it's like, you look kind of like, it's fine. If you want to play, okay, he's half white, he's mixed or whatever. So it's like, okay, it's fine, So you kind of like, I felt like they could kind of plug you into any spot in a way at that time, especially as a kid. You could be anywhere. You had the hair, you had the look and everything of those kids, especially at the time. Like especially those type of movies and stuff like Punks and whatnot. So just seeing you in those type of things, like you really, you had the it factor, the look, that they could use for, do for anything.
Which was part of the luck thing for me. Sorry to cut you off, but like,
no, go ahead.
It was like, no, like I tried hard, in school and got good grades, and I tried hard in these acting classes to like execute. I don't know why that was just like the nature of my being, but it was. But still, it was like, okay, cool. That's great that you're working hard. That's great that you're like committed to it, and great that you are, have some decent talent. But it was also like my big break was Jungle Book. I happened to be 11 years old at the time. I happened to be brown. I happened to have long hair, right? Like had I hit puberty, right? A couple of years earlier than when I did, right? Like at 11, and all of a sudden I have like, I'm a little bit taller, my voice is a little bit deeper. Wouldn't have gotten Jungle Book. Had I cut my hair, wouldn't have got Jungle Book. And there's just so many people where I think that's the case of so many talented people out there, but for whatever reason, it doesn't perfectly match up. And so luckily I did feel like I was like decently prepared for when that opportunity came, but the fact that that opportunity came and I happen to be not too dark of a brown kid and not too light of a brown kid was just awesome dumb luck.
Yeah, I say you playing Mowgli. I never got the chance to watch it all the way because it confused me at the time as a kid. Because I was like, at the time we had the other version of it
Jason
that was
Scott
also
Lee.
Disney. Yeah, Jason Scott Lee, and I watched that like a million times.
Same.
I still have that VHS in my house. But I got confused. I'm like, is this a younger version? Is this like a prequel, sequel type of thing? It confused me, so I just didn't know, whatever. I never really got the chance to really watch it, but it always confused me. I thought it was dope still, but knowing how the machine works with these movies and IPs and whoever. So it was still cool to see, so you have a different type of role. Every role you had, it was definitely different from the next. You just never had like just one role that was like, okay, he's the token kid this or the nerdy kid this, whatever. It was like, no, it's a wide range of different stuff. Which role for you was like the hardest to try to like get, to figure out? Every character is different, so.
Yeah, that's a good point. I really thought about it in that way, but that's cool. I appreciate your perspective on that. I will say that of all the roles that I got, typically the ones that I got were the ones that I felt like I could access in a pretty organic way. There wasn't a whole lot of, honestly, like now that I'm thinking about it, my guest starring role was on City Guys. Wait, was it City Guys? Oh no, there's another one. I was on this TV show called Sparks with
yes, Terry Howard and
James Avery from Fresh Prince.
I just what was it? The other guy who played the brother who was like Juwanna Mann or whatever.
Juwanna Mann, Robin Gibbons.
Yeah, I just met him like a few months back at a con. So I know the show. Show.
He's a cool dude, and I auditioned for that show. I was like, troubled urban youth, right? Like ethnically ambiguous troubled youth, and didn't get auditioned just once, and then got a call like maybe 4 or 5 months later, and they're like, "Hey, so you got the part in Sparks," and I'm like, I don't even remember what that is. I don't even remember like my sides. And I completely forgot it. Oftentimes for the ones that I've booked, I've left it and been like, wow, that felt really, really good. I did exactly what I wanted to do. And I remember like my mom would ask me after the audition, she'd be like, how'd it go? And oftentimes I'd be like, I don't know. But for the ones that I really felt good about that I eventually got, I was like, feel good about that. I think I'm going to get a call back. I think they're going to let me know about it. And I think I booked it. And that was one of the ones where it's like, nah, that was just a shot in the dark. I had no freaking idea. Jonny Tsunami, definitely felt good about that. One World, I felt good about that. I don't know. It's funny that you say that. I appreciate you saying how diverse it is, because I remember thinking there was a lot that like I wasn't able to get that I really wanted to get. Like, and even roles that were a lot more diverse. And honestly, I think that played somewhat of a role in why I stopped acting or why I quit acting, because I just felt like I wasn't as good of an actor as I wanted to be. Right. This is kind of like my own judgment of it, where I love film and I love movies, and I've loved movies before, during, and after like my acting career. And honestly, the farther I've gotten away from acting, the more I really like revere and look up to actors, because I think it's a crazy job. To like embody someone else's life and then go home to your own life, or to specifically embody like, to have, the access to rage and to grief and to shame or to being distraught, to cry, whatever. And then to also like wipe your tears off, cut, and then do it again. And then cut and do it again another 10 times. That's just like a crazy thing to do. And I remember wanting and wishing to get these parts to where I was like playing more, I don't know, emotionally messed up characters, right? People who had like either more problematic backgrounds or more interesting roles. And ultimately, like, I remember like probably having a conversation with my manager at the time, and she's like, "Hey, you don't look like a gangster, Brandon. I hate to break this to you, but you look like the kid next door. You look like the love interest. You know, like you're probably not going to book like a gang member, like, unfortunately." And I was like, "Damn, okay, that's fair. I get that. I understand."
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Just took out your toughness right away. Just like, hey. Like, if you thought you were tough that day,
Right.
no, not that moment.
Exactly. Just so you know, you're not.
Yeah. Just damn, no street cred nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
It just sparked my thought just now. When you said about, you know, the acting and, you know, and your view on it now. I'm, you know, you having to do TV shows and whatnot back before, and seeing how the landscape of acting for kids especially has changed overall so much. I feel because you couldn't do certain things and whatnot, and put kids through certain things, and especially like the emotional aspects and stuff, you know. And now you have like these streaming platforms that comes in and we're like, oh, we could do everything now. And now they're pushing the kids way further than you never ever got to see kids do stuff. Because I, you know, watching like Stranger Things and I literally just watched Welcome to Derry just the other day, and just watched like just that recent episode is like, okay, Bill Skarsgård is the best. He's good. But these kids, like I always say, this show is like F these kids. That's how I feel. That's how they treat these kids in the show. It's like, oh no, there's never going to be a the kids are all right type of spot, or oh, gotcha, you thought this was gonna happen, didn't happen. No, they're gonna make this happen. This, you know, it scar you, you know.
Yeah.
And some of you like, no, it's a TV show. It's fake, but we're gonna make sure we got our point across that these kids are here and they're gone. Like there's no one safe. No one's safe. And seeing these kids now having to pull off so much, like, what do you think of like what these kids got to go through now, like just the acting abilities and to do all this?
It's being a kid actor is a lot, and seeing what they're capable of doing now, it's incredible. I mean, I guess it's similar to sports in a way, right? Where you see people who've come before you, and with not just having, you know, cable and access to the film and TV catalog of, you know, decades, but also social media. It's now, I would imagine kids have so much more access to seeing how someone does the work that they do. Yeah. You could probably take acting classes way easier because you can take them online now. And just like you said, like you could have your own, you know, your streaming channel. So your ability to be exposed is right there at your desk, you know, in your room. Which makes the accessibility to the art way easier, and that's got to be, for someone who's really devoted to it, got to be great. I would imagine though that can be a double-edged sword. I mean, yet again, going back to the social media thing, right? So it's back when I was like coming up, you know, you and I were both coming. It's like, okay, like maybe you'll get a role, you're gonna be on one of the, let's say, you know, 7 major channels. Maybe there's like 10 cable channels you're going to be on, and that's pretty much it. And that's like, no, I can videotape myself, or shoot, I can produce a podcast from my bedroom, you know? Yeah. I'm here on the other side of the world, and boom, we're like creating content. Yeah. And there is just a lot of responsibility that comes with that, especially when you are a kid at a precocious age. So it's one of those things where it's really cool because everyone has more access to be creative. There's a lot less gatekeeping now than there was back then. So that's really, really cool. Of course, there's just like incredible kids out there all the time. I feel like I see every other day on social media someone's kid who is an incredible singer, an incredible dancer. And you're like, oh my gosh, this kid just straight out the womb seemingly has this innate gift to give. And then on the other end of the spectrum is like, okay, but are we taking away from their childhood?
Yes.
Is the kid being exploited in any way? Are they coming up with a disproportionate idea of fame or attention or a sense of worth and sense of self predicated upon subscribers and likes and viewership? People ask me, like, hey, my wife and I are hopefully will be lucky enough to have a kid one day, but friends have asked, like, hey, what would you say if your kid wanted to be in acting? And I'd be like, super down for it. I'm super down for my kid wanting to be in plays, wanting to be in the drama club. 100%. I think it's a really cool way of expanding your mind, and again, to other people in the world.
Right.
You can't successfully play another role in a film, in a TV show, in a play without truly understanding where the other person is coming from. No villain in any movie has ever thought they're a villain, right?
That's true.
Everyone has their own reasons for why they live their life, and so I think it's a beautiful way to expand your idea for honestly just different people in the world. You kind of have to be inclusive to be a good actor,
right?
But if someone asked me, like, hey, how would you feel about your kid like being in movies at a young age? That's when I'd be like, I don't know. Like, I get it, and maybe if I had one of those kids that was, in that 99th percentile and showed me how incredibly dedicated that they were and wanted it, that I really think hard about it. But it's one of those things where, I live in Colorado now, so the literal geography of doing that is like not necessarily possible. At least not as easy if you were in like LA or New York or something.
Right.
But it does just like put a lot on the kid, and yeah, I know firsthand knowledge that like my career did give me a lot of things, and I'm very grateful and blessed for how many cool opportunities came into my life. But it wasn't without its complexities. It wasn't without a lot of kind of confusion in regards to my life being so much different than like my peers back at school. And I think I would kind of caution my kid to be like, hey, like, you should pursue this acting thing as much as you want. And when you're 18 and you want to go out and you want to go to a different city and do it as an adult, by all means, but you should probably just enjoy your life.
Exactly. Right.
And let someone else worry about this.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Now, because you were active for so long at a young age, was there anything in your personal life as a kid, just being a kid, that you wanted to do outside of acting, like school and stuff, or like things you got, like, was there things that you missed out on?
Yeah,
because of the acting. When you look at the fun stuff, like, oh, you get to do this and meet these type of people, but like you said, being an actual kid, you don't get those years back. So, was there anything that you were like, damn, I really wish I got to go to this prom or join this basketball, team or whatever? Like, was it those moments?
100%. For the longest time, it did feel like there were these two parallel, like, life tracks that I was on, where there was like my life with acting and my life had acting never occurred. And like, my folks definitely did not make me get into acting. It was just that it was those things. It was presented to me externally, like, hey, here's this thing that you could try, and I was like, cool, love to try it. All of a sudden, I hit Jungle Book, and we're off to the races. And I'm working as like a full-time kid at the age of like 12, right? For like 12 to like 17, 18-ish before I went to college. And it was something that like my parents couldn't predict it. I can predict it. It's like, yet again, they were like, hey, maybe you'll get a commercial to pay for college. I never booked a commercial in my life. I tried out for a bunch of commercials. It just wasn't, I don't know. I don't have that face, whatever. So like the likelihood that my career turned out to what it turned out to be was like pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But given that, it was like, oh man, one of my very first identities was art. And I was like, I loved painting and drawing, and then probably my second identity was sports. It's huge into hockey, huge into basketball, and so was never able to play like high school sports, even junior high sports. Missed out on lost a lot of friendships around that time.
Right.
It just wasn't there. Like One World we filmed 3 episodes in a row. It was like 3 weeks, and we'd have a 1-week hiatus. So basically back in school, like I had the option of pulling myself out and just doing homeschool. I told my folks, I don't want to do that. I don't want to miss out on school. I don't want to miss my friends. But I'd be basically back for 1 week out of the month.
Sheesh. Yeah, it's hard to keep friends like that.
Totally. It definitely is. And it also made me kind of like a target because I'd come back into school. Yet again, I was still competitive, try hard, still getting A's in classes, right? Like I'm working full time, but I'm still getting all of my like tests and my essays and all of that done and all my projects. I'm still getting straight A's. And I come back into school and for that 1 week, and these other kids, I'm sure, like, I don't know if I can touch or not, but like people are like, who the fuck is this kid? Like, why is this guy here? And
every month you're like the new kid for a week every time.
Totally. Why does he get to leave for 3 weeks and then come back? Yet if I miss a day of school, like I get detention. This is like, which I totally get now. Where I'm like, yeah, I understand why that kid would feel that way. So,
but as a kid, you also had a full-time job too. You literally had a full-time job and going to school at a young age. So it's like I mean, damn.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. Yeah, for sure. I definitely felt like burnout by the time I like got to college. I was like, I'm just ready to just be a student for a little bit and to like, or actually, I think my senior year of high school, I told my agent, I was like, hey, I want to be like generally speaking, a full-time student. Like I'll do a guest star on a show, but I don't want to do any movies. I don't want to do any series regular stuff. I'll do like bit parts in movies and bit parts in TV shows to kind of like feel like, oh, I get to make up for lost time. And was in like student leadership and was like, was surfing every day with my friends and thinking I could make up for that lost time. I definitely couldn't. I definitely like realized halfway through, I was like, oh man, like as much as I'm trying to recreate certain friendships that I lost and have that like, people had like 3 to 4 years of high school under their belt at that point. And like these groups that had like those, those core memories that I just wasn't a part of. And that's a bummer. And that's something that I've like made peace with. And
you have to.
Therapy.
I mean, you have to make peace with those because, I mean, it's stuff that you couldn't control, at times. So it's like, but you also live in a different life as well from someone else. I mean, you're going to do certain things that not other people get to do too. So it's like,
100%.
I mean, you got to look at both sides of things. Yes. I mean, you're doing cool stuff, but also on the other hand, you probably feel like a deadbeat best friend. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly. Yeah.
But the fact that you try to, especially so young, you're still super young, to like choose like, hey, I want to live a little bit. I want to live my life and take a break. And like not many people could do that. And or probably be too scared to. But I think because you had the foundation early. Because your parents put it like, hey, you could try this. If it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. We go back to regular.
Right.
So it just seemed like you had either or. Your parents would be fine with it. So it's like you didn't have to feel scared to say anything like a lot of other kid actors would have. Like some people will put some families will put all their trauma and everything on that kid. So I have to work because if we don't, we're poor. And and it seemed like you didn't have that from my understanding. It was more like, hey, if you want to do this, you could do this, and we'll support it and have fun with it. If you don't, okay. We still don't live, have fun, and live life. So I think that's a really dope transparency that you had with your parents and just to be able to do that.
Yeah, completely agree. That like there's been many horror stories over the years of like those kid actors not seeing any of their money, all of it going to the parents blow it. Luckily, my parents just saved all that, put that to college for me, which was awesome. And yet again, they did not envision my career turning out to what it was. They were super supportive in, taking me to auditions, and my mom driving me to work. My family, made sacrifices, for years to help me with my career up until I could like drive myself to work.
Right.
So it wasn't without sacrifice from like, my brother and my sister and my parents. But luckily they were like super supportive, and I'm very blessed in that regard.
Now, when it comes to being on set and everything, you have to get along somehow. You have to figure out a way to get along with the other actors to try to make this connection and make it look good on screen and whatnot. Was there ever in the either like one of the movies or series that you were on, like, or that it just didn't work? Like, we're just gonna keep this on TV. I don't think we have chemistry off screen as to be like really cool after.
Yeah. Oh, what an interesting question. Luckily, I was never on any like really bad sets. I don't have any of those horror stories of like nobody got along or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just it may not have been the most likely of choices. So oddly enough, in One World and in Jonny Tsunami, two of my closest friends from both of those shows were my dads on set.
Really?
Yeah. So, basically my dad on One World, incredible guy. Because on One World, when I did it, I was, I think, 14, 15.
Yeah.
Everybody else was an adult, either like 18 or 19 or like literally 25 playing in high school. So I was the one kid who actually had to go to like on-school set.
Right.
And he was the cool enough dude to be there with me and to play ping pong and like, go watch movies with me. He was like a cool dude in that regard. Same thing with Jonny Tsunami. Everyone talks about my grandpa, Kerry Tagawa, who just passed away.
Just passed. I was gonna say,
honestly, R.I.P. to him, legend. But Yuji Okamoto is who played my dad, who's like kind of the villain of the movie, at least one of them, right?
Yeah, you know what? I did not like him in the beginning.
Yeah.
As I got older, I understood.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Then he comes around and don't get me wrong, I was like good friends with Lee Thompson Young on set, but he just wasn't there for a lot of the filming. I mean, he was there
because he had his own show at the time.
Right. Kirsten Storms as well, like totally got along. But I just had a lot of time with Yuji, and he made a point to like kick it, and we were like friends to this day. I mean, yet again, when Carrie passed away over the weekend, he was the one who texted me before anybody else did.
Wow.
Like, hey man, did you hear this? I mean, there was one time as I got older and I was an adult, and I was on a film set, and I'm sharing a trailer like with one of my co-stars, and like certain trailers are like, I think they're called like sometimes like a full wagon, a half wagon, meaning like they're like split down the middle, or some of them like might have like 4 to 5 rooms in like the kind of like this small little dressing room, whatever.
Right.
But I was sharing like a half one, and it's like the very first day of shooting, and I feel my I feel my like dressing room start to like shake and like rock a little bit.
Right.
And I'm like, like what, what's going on? It's the very first day of filming. I'm just like kind of getting all my lines down, preparing. And then all of a sudden it occurs to me that like the person that I'm sharing my dressing room with is having sex in the wagon with their boyfriend at the time.
Right.
They eventually finish.
Yeah.
And the producer comes over and knocks on my door. Is like, hey, Brandon, did you hear anything? I was like, I did hear a rhythmic wrestling occurring. They're like, we're so sorry about that. I was like, hey, I'm totally fine. And that set was one of the sets where it was like, there was just from that day, people kind of took one side or the other of like, are we taking this seriously, or are we banging in the dressing rooms?
You're right.
But I don't know. I mean, luckily, I'm not a terribly divisive person, generally speaking. I like to get along with most people, and also I think that's like kind of pivotal for the acting. Like I wasn't one of those people who could separate who I was from the character of like, oh, I don't talk to these people when we say cut. We actually don't get along. In the moment when they call action, then I'm going to pretend like we are chummy and we're best friends. I mean, maybe I could have done that, but that always felt just so fake and false for me.
Right.
That just was never my thing.
That would be something. Just Wow. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Um, so like you spoke of the gentleman that played your father in the Jonny Tsunami.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him in another show. I think it was Karate Kid.
Yeah, exactly. He is.
And then it was like I never put two and two together, never ever. But it was like Jonny Tsunami's dad. He's evil here too. Oh, that makes sense. Well,
yeah, exactly.
That's fine. Whatever. He was bad dad. He was he's evil over here. Fine. He's good at it. But like I said, I got older and I watched it again, and it's like, you know what? It's okay. I get it. You know,
yeah.
His family, trauma, and he just didn't want his son. It's like you really, because I feel like as a kid you're on Johnny's side.
Yeah.
And then as you get older, like, okay, you understand both sides, but then you know what? He's just a guy that wants to just have his kid be on the right track, and
right.
That's all. He just don't want his dad. He think he has no problem with his dad, his own father, and everything. And then it's like, and honestly, just to get the fathers, both dads, that connection again, to see that. Honestly, for me as an adult, I was like, wow, because I lost my dad a few years ago, so it's like, dude, as an adult, it means, thank you, I appreciate it. But as an adult now, I was like, that scene hits a little bit harder and means a lot more, especially because at the time I'm like, oh, Shang Tsung is his grandfather.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the whole time, I'm like, Johnny, better watch it. He's gonna take your soul. It's like, you better watch it.
Yeah.
But just like I said, watching it as an adult, and just seeing the complexities now, it's like, you know what? You never paid attention to that part. That's the adults of it. As a kid, you think in one way, but
it's true. I think that part of the movie is what made that movie, at least one of the reasons why that movie was so good, because there is that one scene where it's my dad and my grandfather, and I'm not in it.
Yeah.
It's just the two, like them working out their issues, their trauma, which is unusual for a Disney Channel movie, right?
Yeah, because they always focus on the kids stuff.
Right. We're gonna have a scene that has nothing to do with the kids. We're just gonna, that's more or less what Jonny Tsunami is about. It's about like lineage. It's about passing down things generationally, or hopefully not passing down things generationally.
Yeah.
And the fact that they decided to keep that scene in the movie, I think made it a real, I don't say a real movie, but a deeper, more realized movie rather than maybe a little bit like lighter end Disney fluff,
Yeah, and it was one of those things like, it's like I remember my dad always saying, I want you to always be better than me, and like seeing that in the movie is like seeing the grandfather and dad is like, yeah, the grandfather don't want him to be just like him. No, he wants to be better, but also don't want him to forget where he came from, his history and everything else, and and also want to keep that tradition, let it go to the young one, and so on and so on. It was it's a dope thing, and also it's just culturally speaking, like you didn't get that on TV a lot. The diversity, to see that, like, okay, these are not black, they're not white. It's a whole different thing, and I love it. And everyone can still relate to it.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, you brought up earlier about my career or that film like making an impact on people, and it's honestly crazy. Like I go through my life just like everybody else, especially now, right? Like I don't live in LA.
In Colorado.
I'm not doing anything in the entertainment industry. That's not my thing. It's not my identity. And so I just go through my life as like a person to the point where like I forget about that oftentimes. My wife forgets about it oftentimes. But it's pretty incredible how resonant a lot of those roles have been, and those films that I've been in have been, specifically for what you just said, because it was about. So many people have come up to me and been like, man, I never saw anyone on screen that looked like you until that movie. I never saw a representation of like my culture and my heritage until that movie. Or not even that. I never saw, regardless of like, maybe I'm someone who isn't brown, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, hey, I'm Dominic. And I've never seen two Asian men talk about, you know, generational lineage before. And
right.
That gives you just another reference point that just kind of didn't exist in a lot of like modern media at that point. So the fact that I don't know, that I am a part of that for some people in that way is really, really cool because, yeah, yet again, it was nothing that I ever dreamed of. But as I've gotten older, that means more and more to me, you know, for seeing like diversity and inclusion and representation when I watch films of that nature. Yeah.
Right. And now it's such a big thing because, you know, years ago at the time, you just had anybody playing everybody. So
exactly.
You know, now it's such a big thing. Like, no, if they're in a wheelchair, they have to be in a wheelchair for real.
Correct.
If they're blue, they got to be really blue in real life too. So it's like, it's just we need everything to be just like it is. You know, we're gonna write. But I do love the fact that, you know, it's called acting. You know, you should be able to play anything and anybody. You know, you working with like with Lee Thompson Young a little bit. And that was another impact, like for me watching, like, oh, Lee Thompson, famous Judge Jackson's in this, and then you had your girlfriend was Xenon Girl of the 21st Century. I was like, it was just a stack on stack of cool things, and the hat, I never found where that hat came from,
bro.
Where the hell did that hat come from?
Dude, I don't even know, but I'm like, I've been telling my wife, I was like, so many people ask me about that hat, and I'm like, I should just like get those hats made, just straight up.
But it was so abnormally bigger than your head. It was like it swallows you whole, like almost. And then you had the big glasses too. It was just like, oh my god, it was hilarious. But do you have? Like, I know you said you didn't have much. You didn't have much time with Thompson during acting. Like, do you have any fond memories of work with him?
Totally. I mean, the thing is, I remember he was with us because like he was only there in Hawaii with us for like a couple of days, right? Because like within the story of the movie, he flies out randomly with me. He was only there for a couple of days, and in Utah. He was out there for a good amount of it. So I don't know. Me and him definitely became friends. Nice. Me and him were like, definitely, But he was a year older than me. And I was talking to my wife the other day. I was like, I love music and picked up a vinyl that I've been wanting for a long time that just should have been in my catalog. But Lauryn Hill, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, like one of the albums of all time. And that album came out the same time that we were filming Jonny Tsunami. It was like that. It was Lauryn Hill, Miseducation, and there's a Busta Rhymes album that came out. Not Woo-Ha, but I think it was Dangerous. Busta Rhymes Dangerous.
Yeah.
And
that was a good one.
I had both of those CDs, and I had both of the CDs with me. Like there's that scene where Lee and I, or Sam and Johnny, are in the bus. Where we're taking the bus, I think, to go snowboarding or something. And we just filmed in that bus all day. And it was basically me and him in between takes, just listening to both of those albums, learning every single lyric to both those albums all the way through. So being able to rap the entire Busta Rhymes album, being able to sing the entire Lauryn Hill album, to the point where he really tried to get me to rap with him, to freestyle rap with him.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely trash at freestyle rapping, but basically I have this, cool black dude a year older than me who wants to teach me how to rap. I don't know. It was just, he was so much cooler than me. He was just like, I don't know. He had just such an air about him, a presence on set. He was so professional and personable and cool. Right. He wasn't like cool in an inaccessible way, but he was cool in the way that you were like favorite, cousin who's a year older than you.
Right.
Just like kind of teaching me about things in a way where I felt like I was constantly like learning. Yeah, I don't know. I miss that guy so much. I mean, thinking about when Carrie passed away over the weekend.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do you have any about him as well? Because he seems like he has a wealth of wisdom.
Yeah, that
like,
dude
spewing from his veins is like so much.
Looking back on that cast, just like you said, obviously Kirsten Storms from Xenon,
Mm-hmm.
Lee Thompson Young from Famous Jet Jackson. So those two were established before me. There's also, I don't know if that film gets made if Kerry Tagawa doesn't take that role. Because at that point, yeah, you had Yuji who was in Karate Kid. So everyone kind of came correct. There was nobody who was really new. If anyone was new on set, it was kind of me. But even I, at that point, was like, oh, I've been in other films before. I've been on TV shows. Like, I was stoked to be like leading the movie, but it was something that I felt like I was completely capable of. But Kerry Tagawa, had a 20-year acting career at that point,
right?
Even longer, not only like Mortal Kombat, but he was in like Rising Sun. I mean, he was in like so many movies as like the bad guy and the villain. Yeah. And after that, he was in like Planet of the Apes. I don't know. He just had an incredible career. And in terms of being, a leader and a pioneer in terms of an Asian male actor.
Yeah.
Who was all of a sudden playing my grandfather, who has been in the industry and one of the major Asian male actors in the industry to that point for 20, 30 years, was huge, And I don't even think I really, I knew it to some degree at the time. I knew that Shang Tsung was about to be my grandfather, and that was that blew my mind. But especially when he passed away, it was like, man, like Yuji and I are yet again, so close text. And Carrie and I were definitely friends, but it was more in like a professional sense, kind of like an old coworker, of yours. Like, hey, when we worked together, we got along. I wish him well. We would connect every few years or so, but man, I wish I would have like contacted him, seen him, talked to him again one more time. I felt the same way when Lee passed away of like, damn, I wish I would have reached out. One more time, going back to what you were talking about, about your dad.
Yeah.
We are, millennials now, we are middle-aged.
Yeah.
Like we are either in our early 40s or in the middle of our 30s, and, it's crazy how time is flying. And
dude, it's so scary. It's scary because I'm watching other shows and movies from a time before where people in their 30s and 40s look so much older.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at like you and I was like, I don't get it.
Seriously, I don't get it either.
I don't get it. Like I mean, then again, like high schoolers in like some movies in the 80s, like whatever, or early 90s, they like had full on beards, in high school. So they look like 35 as 16. So and like even given like you were saying, you doing One World, you got 25-year-olds playing 16-year-olds.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're already in that mindset. Oh my God, we're gonna be old looking when we get older, and then come to find out, no. No, this is we're I feel like we hit the right spot right now with the millennials. I think we're good. But also I think we don't have because I know there's the Gen Z. Is it Gen Z now? Whatever.
Yeah.
They look older at a young age, but I feel like I told someone the other day. I think because we didn't have the internet early, like we were the test dummies for all that stuff. So we knew what it was like to go outside. We knew what it was like to talk on the phone and, to have to dial everything or whatever, or go to a house that had plastic everywhere.
Exactly.
And when you got up, it stuck to you if it was hot outside.
Exactly. Exactly.
So we knew that was like, we had all the fun, cool stuff, Tamagotchis and whatever. All that stuff before we got to the internet, and when things happen, we know how to just turn it off too. Versus now, people just kind of like they can't turn it off.
Right.
They don't know what they're like. I look at my nieces and my nephew, like all they know is the internet stuff. They just know Apples and iPads and everything like that. That's all they know. So when they look at, stuff happens, they have to go back on their phone. They have to go back to the tablet. Whereas whether you or I was like, turn the TV on, just see what's on there. Leave the phone alone.
I'm so grateful to have known the difference between the two, because I feel like the older generation oftentimes says like, "Oh, get off of your phone. That's not real life."
Yeah.
And of course, I know what that means.
Yeah.
But for a lot of these younger people, that's not the actual truth. It's like, no, my online life is more real than my actual life.
Yeah.
My real life is like, I have this job, or I go to school, but I have a whole community that understands me, that cares about me, that interacts with me. I have like languages that I speak with these other people, these niche subjects, to where I feel seen and I feel a sense of belonging in a way where I don't in my quote unquote real world.
Yeah.
Which I think is both beautiful and problematic. It's like, damn, I do want you to touch grass. And also that's really cool because maybe back in the day there were people who didn't feel like they could find their specific spot or their culture, their people, and like now with the internet they have that. The other thing I will say, with the reason why I think you and I feel as young as we do, is I think because when we were growing up, there's a lot of these measuring points and barometers within life that signaled how old you were, that are less of established or need to be accomplished than they used to be. And by that I mean specifically like before you were getting married in your like early to mid 20s.
Right.
You had a job and you bought a house and you had kids by the time you were 30, and that's just what you did with your life.
Yeah, pretty much.
And now it's like, no, you don't have to get married. I hope you can buy a house. You might not be able to.
Yeah.
You also don't have to have kids to have any of these things. I mean, and you can go to work without putting on a suit. You can have, a beard and tattoos and still be a CEO, right? Or you can be a woman and you don't have to stay at home raising kids. You can not only have a job, but it's a job where you don't have to be a secretary, and you can have your own freedom to explore your own career and your choices beyond motherhood and beyond that. And so I think before it used to be like, older people used to look like this. They were moms and dads, and they had a car and a house and a dog. And now it's like, like we all get to kind of express in more ways than we used to. But that is also why I still feel like, at least I personally, I'm like, there's no way I'm 40. No, there's no way. I am not at all what I envisioned 40 was when I was a kid,
Bro, I understand. I went, it was Labor Day weekend, and one of my best friends came up from Cali, and it was 3 of us got together, and one of our friends, he has 3 kids and everything. You can't tell until he takes his head off. You can tell. But we put his hat on, he's back to looking young and everything. But it's such a funny thing because you go to day-to-day life and deal with life and everything, but when you get with certain people, certain groups of friends, you tend to act and forget that you're an adult at times. We kind of revert back to that old teenage ways. And you joke around, you laugh. And I remember we took a trip to New York, and I forgot where we were trying to get to and stuff, but we saw it was a whole food festival thing. We walked everywhere and all this. Mind you, I learned never walk around New York in the bad type of shoes. So I wore Crocs. I was like, I'm gonna be smart. I'm gonna wear Crocs. My friends want to wear Jordans and all that. Cool, whatever. The next day, we did all this stuff. We drove back and everything. The next day, we're feeling like kids, mind you. Great. The next day, we all felt like we got hit by a bus. So it was like the age part really came back to hit us. It's like, oh yeah, you thought you felt like it, but I'm gonna remind you the next day. Like, oh, my back hurt. What did we do yesterday? Oh, like,
shoot, we just walked.
That's all we did. We walked everywhere, and we walked. We had a great time, but that's all we did. And yet the next day, we're all like wiped out. Just like,
funny.
What happened? Do you have? Because I don't want to keep up any more of your time, and I really do appreciate you. doing this. I myself, my personal life, I work at a performing arts school.
Oh, awesome!
Which is, I'll tell you right now, these kids are freaking talented. Like hell, like it's so cool to see. Like they got different things from dancing to singing to acting to even learning how to do stage work, the behind the scenes stuff. It's really cool. Yeah. And just to see some of these kids perform, and right now they're like working on Matilda, and just to see these kids leave their regular school life, to like it's like a half-day program. So it's like they leave their regular school to come here to our stuff, and they do everything, and they're so good. Like a lot of these kids are really talented, and I'm like, wow, somebody's gonna be famous in this place. Somebody, or just really successful, in over the field, you know, because we forget there's more to just. You don't have to be on camera. You could be behind the camera. Right. And it's really cool to see. So, what do you have any advice to give in general, just like a lot of kid actors, even just regular adults still trying to, you still got adults still trying to make it. Do you have any advice for them?
Boy. You know, pursuing something in the arts and specifically entertainment, it's not for the faint of heart, you know, because it does involve so much rejection. So I guess the first thing that I would say is, you know, all of the cliche things of like, you know, it's not the destination, it's the journey, but it's truly that. Like, in order to have thick skin, you need to have the memory of a goldfish and really just like take everything that you're going through and use it as fuel, as like, oh, I'm learning something, I'm taking from this to better myself.
Right.
And if it is just for the audition that you completely bomb, you know, every single audition that I went into, I tried to use as something that was a building block. Didn't always feel that way. A lot of times I would leave the audition room and be like, I just wasted so much time. I wasted my mom driving me to this audition because I bombed that so hard. Luckily, my mom was like super cool about it and like, hey, you know, it's all good. But so sometimes I would definitely get discouraged for sure. But generally speaking, I was like, no, like at that audition, I got to meet that casting director. And because I did a good job on this audition, because they saw that I came in prepared, that I was professional, that I had a good idea, at least one new idea on the character. The next time that there's going to be an audition, they're going to bring me in. And that happened to me over and over again in my career. Just like it was, you know, because of City Guys, I got One World. Because I did Even Stevens, I got Jonny Tsunami.
Right.
The reason I got Even Stevens is because I did P.U.N.K.S. So is over and over again meeting these people and forming relationships that would eventually pay off. I remember when I was out in LA and I was meeting like newer, younger actors who would ask me my thoughts, and my number one advice was like, the people who don't make it in LA are the people who leave. And it was just like, yeah, this is a long game thing if you're really into it. Don't get me wrong, some people are lucky, and honestly, I was pretty lucky to kind of get my big break as early as I did.
Right.
And that would be the kind of the second part of the advice that I would give of like, obviously, if you stick it out, you know, if you leave, then it's gonna be hard to make it.
Right.
If you stay, it's still hard to make it.
Right.
But there's so many talented people in the industry in LA who I still know, and they're still some of my best friends who, work behind the camera. Who, you know, one of my best girlfriends, she works in publicity for a lot of like the film studios. So she's on the red carpets with the talent. Another one of my best friends is a director. I have so many people who used to be actors and then now made it into producing or production roles of some facet. And it's important to have people who have a holistic idea for how a film set works or how a production set works, so that they, probably grew up as someone who is maybe an actor or a singer, but you understand that you have the greater intent in mind of creating good art, right? Creating something that people can perhaps leave their lives and escape into, where you can still certain itches within you scratched, right?
Right.
And maybe, for you, a lot of people go out to LA and they're like, oh, I want to be an actor. I want to be an actress. I want to be a movie star. Cool. Good luck to you. There are so many people vying for that.
Right.
So many people who make it in that regard. But if you go out there and you say, you know what, it's really important for me to explore my creativity. I really care about storytelling. You might find yourself, somewhere down the line, if you take, a job as an assistant to someone on the set, to where you are a producer eventually, where you are greenlighting scripts, or maybe you learn. I know people who have, been the assistant to writers, who eventually over a long enough time make it into a writer's room, and now you're in a writer's room for like a sitcom. Or maybe like people who go out to LA and they want to be an actor, and so they join an improv group, and all of a sudden they make their way up through like the comedy ranks, having never previously thought about that. And that is, I think, of what I mean by the people who leave LA or the ones that leave. It's like, if you stay and if you try to like focus on being able to give your gifts to the world,
right,
but not being so married to the specific way in which it's in which it reveals itself,
right,
then you can still be a part of like incredibly cool and incredibly rewarding pieces of art.
Now, I saw the sorry to cut you off. I just saw the guy who did the singing voice of Aladdin, and now he's a showrunner for Welcome to Derry in the new I think is Friday, like, was it the Friday the 13th TV series that's coming.
Oh,
and he's a showrunner. So he was the voice of Aladdin for his singing voice. So it's just like you just come in one way and then end up doing something else and still be successful.
Yeah, and that is like, I guess the last thing that I was going to say was, so much of that industry, but even just human life is about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would say be nice to the people on the way up. Remember the kids who are with you in those same classes, in high school, in college. Make relationships with, your professors in college or the casting directors or whatever. Because I remember the people that when I was coming up, as a teenager, were living in my 20s in LA. Right now, just like we said, we're millennials. Everyone's like in their late 30s, early 40s. Now, all of my best friends are the producers.
Yeah.
Now they are the ones who are calling the shots. And when we were just kind of scraping together on a low budget indie film, just trying to make ends meet, now they are casting directors and things of that nature, where you can just like use those contacts over time. And even going back to even further what we were talking about, social media, right?
Yeah.
The gatekeeping of that is even less, because now you don't actually have to be in LA to create your own production company. You don't have to be, in New York to put together something that you really care about. Because just like you, Dominic, you could reach out to someone, and DM them, because shooters got to shoot your shot. Maybe you don't hear back from the first 90 people, and the 91st one hits you up. And I was like, okay, I actually do know who Dominic is. We've actually hung out and had a conversation for an hour. And who knows where you are in 5 years, and who knows where I'm at in 5 years, and our paths cross again. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that is like the beautiful thing of like how interconnected the world is now. So if it is something that really means a lot to you, don't get caught up in kind of like the small-minded high school drama that is maybe your specific slice of the internet, because the internet is so big. The world is actually so big now. Your ability to meet people and connect is so easy. So if you find yourself in some hallway of the internet feeling like you're not cool and you're like a geek and no one likes you, just move over to the next hallway of the internet.
Yeah. I love that.
And find your people, because honestly, no one really gives a shit. And I'm working at
it. You're so right about that. You're so right. It's speaking to the fact that, we are millennials and whatnot, and we love this. I feel like we love our nostalgia. We're in there, so and it makes us feel good to like reminisce on certain things, toys, and whatnot. And I know that you share a podcast as well.
Yeah.
If you want to give the name for and where the times, or where they can find you, or for the pod and whatnot, because it's a pretty dope pod. I'm just saying.
Oh, thanks, man.
It's pretty dope. It's pretty dope.
Glad you feel that way. Yeah, it's called Flip Phone Confessional. Yeah, and it's basically a millennial podcast. We talk about all things 90s and 2000s. Yeah, it's something that I wanted to do a podcast for years, never got around to it. And then met my friend Justin Miller, who's 90s guy for life, who's got a huge following on socials, and befriended him earlier this year. And he was like, hey, man, my wife and I went and joined him and his wife out for dinner. He's like, hey, there's something I've been wanting to ask you. And I thought he was going to ask me to do like a skit. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. But he's like, no, I want to start a podcast. And yeah, I asked a lot of people about it ahead of time, of just friends who had like done shows and things previously. Like, what are your thoughts? And they're like, make your net wide enough that you never run out of content. And we never will, in terms of talking about nostalgia, it is such an interesting time for millennials because we grew up on content. Yeah. And now we have the ability to go back and revel in that in a way that kind of nobody else has.
Right. Yeah.
Our generations before us barely got VHSs.
Yes.
Let alone social media in your pocket to where you can be following people who are into the same community. And through, honestly, social media, just seeing how much people responded, like resonated with Jonny Tsunami after all these years. Obviously with Justin, seeing, let's be real, like life is so crazy in so many ways in our world in these modern times that sometimes don't get me wrong, I want to be admired in what's going on politically, socioeconomically, because I want to better the world and better myself. And other times I just want to retreat back to the things that, made me feel good and safe and familiar to me from my past, and just revel in the good old days. Yeah. With some friends of mine. And that's pretty much what we do. So we have a YouTube on channel that's been getting steam, which is awesome. We're on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get podcasts. So we talk about everything from, Mighty Ducks to, Tamagotchis and Power Rangers and Mortal Kombat, and have the best 90s Christmas movies coming up, and so just having a lot of fun with that. Thank you to everyone who's been following that. That's been a ton of fun.
Yeah, it looks fun. I mean, just the set alone that you have, it looks fun. It's like the big butt TV. I was like, when I saw the big butt TV, like, we're here. They know what they're talking about. But it's one of the last questions I just want to get. We're in a time now where conventions is a big thing. How do you feel about going to cons and stuff now? Like, I know you live a completely different life now. Yeah. You're an officiant now, so you're marrying people and wedding bliss and making them happy, and you live in Colorado, which is so far off the map that I would expect. I think anybody. Sure. There's people that live there. That's right. I'm always assuming about mountains and stuff like that, but you're doing your own thing and you're happy and you're thriving and whatnot. So when you get to leave that and hit a con, like, do you enjoy it and the whole feel of the memories bringing back and people coming to you and just sharing their stories to you, whatnot? How do you feel?
Yeah, man. So I've actually only been to one con. So the very first con I ever went to was last year, and that's where I met Justin. It was one of those things where I've been invited before, and I think for a long time, I've been out here in Colorado for almost 10 years now. And I when I moved out to Colorado, I was dating my girlfriend at the time. She went to grad school out here. We broke up, yada, yada. She moved back. I stayed out here because I was like, I think if I go back to California now, I will not have learned anything from Colorado. It would have just been a kind of a blip on my life radar rather than an actual chapter. And so glad that I did that, because I kind of needed the time away from LA, away from acting, and away from all of like my identities and my relationships out there to kind of like find out who I was still like early on in my life. I was like, I'm still young enough to where I can kind of try something new and pivot. And it was really important for me to like take that time to kind of like, to not be putting myself out there. It was like the first 5 years out here in Colorado were very internal. like working on myself, not really wanting to put myself out there. And then something happened over the last couple of years, and I think it's honestly just straight up healing. I feel like I got to a point where like I really knew who I was outside of acting, had a better sense of like identity, and was ready to put myself back out there in the world. Someone hit me up about this convention, and my wife was like, oh, like, should I come with you? What is this going to be like? And I was like, honey, this might be a shit show. So how about you just stay at home? I'll go see what this is like. And then the next one, once you come out. And anyway, went out to the convention, had a great time. It was really, really cool. Met some really, really cool people who were there as talent for the convention. My buddy Justin, who we started the podcast with. So many people who were just so nice, like fans, just chopping it up after all these years. Yeah. Small talk or deep conversations. People are like, hey, I really, really enjoyed you in that movie. That mattered a lot. Now I'm showing it to my kids. Yeah. Or people who are like, hey, I really enjoyed you as an actor. I'm a director now. I really think that you should think about getting back into acting if that's something that you wanted to do. It sounds like you've done a lot of work on yourself. I think it would be really cool for you to approach acting now as this more realized version of self. I mean, so kind of the whole gamut of conversation. Yeah. Really met people who come out who are like really, really thoughtful, who traveled from all over the country for this convention. People who brought like, some people printed out a huge like flags of like my face. They're like, wow, it lives in my garage. It just kind of blew my mind. So very, very humbling. Yet again, I was a kid who just wanted to do well in an audition room and do well in the roles that I was lucky enough to get to conduct myself in a professional way, to now 20 years later, still having I don't know, a slice of anyone's life in some small way to where like somehow I've made it better. Right. And that was not on my life bingo card at all. That's just something that randomly has happened, and I'm so fortunate and grateful that I get to be a part of people's lives in that way, because I learn, I get to like, it's like honestly being here right now, to where like I get to connect with you in a way because you feel like it's worthy to connect with me, and that's so cool that I have that connection point now. Right. So super down for conventions. Justin and we're talking about doing 90s cruise next year. I think I'm gonna be heading to 90s Con with him as well. So I'll be out there. He's in the mix on that stuff a lot, and he's dragging me along with him.
That's dope. I really like that. That's really dope. It's funny when I say Jonny Tsunami. Yeah. To anybody that's in our age group, it's always the same. Like I told my friends, a few of my friends, like, yeah. So I got this interview with Brandon Baker, and it's like, who's that? Like Jonny Tsunami. What? It's like different reactions, but they're always the face light up every time.
That's cool.
Like it's always like, get the hell out of here. No, it's like you just say it's just, I don't know what it is. It's just the name itself triggers something in people. Yeah, and it's just like they get hyped. Like it's just like they just they gotta take a deep breath before they repeat. You want to say anything, I should say. So it's like that's just a testament to your work, bro. I mean, like you make people happy in a slight second once the name of your project came up, and it's like they forget for a hot second that they have bills and whatever life stuff. It's like Jonny Tsunami. Oh yeah, I just watched that. Like they know. It's like they know. It's like mentioning your work is right there with saying Power Rangers, or you remember Mortal Kombat. You remember, it's also in part of that nostalgia feel of, what can make me feel better at this time. I need something to cheer me up from like the regular life stuff. Oh, let me go to the Disney app, Disney Plus, and Jonny Tsunami. Oh, this is here. Let me watch this. Cool. Johnny Kapahala. I can't pronounce the last name. Kapahala. Kapahala. It's like you can watch those, and you can watch it goes on and on, like, famous Jack Jackson. Like it would just Jonny Tsunami itself would trigger a wormhole of nostalgia
Mm.
And it was that's that's the work that you have done. And the all those the days that you were like, rehearsing and try to get those lines right, the hours on that bus trying to get these shots right, the angles and everything.
Yeah.
All of those things paid off, bro. For people, anybody around that know Jonny Tsunami, and just like, oh yeah, I remember that. Like they like a light bulb. They know, and it brings a little warmth into them. And it's like, that's what you've done, bro. So, and that's the type of thing I want to do. That's why I want to have you on, like, give you your flowers.
Man.
So it's like we don't ever get to give those to a lot of people, especially in our age range too, because So it's like to net. I feel like somebody like Lee, for instance, who was in our age range.
Yeah.
Probably never got to maybe not know the impact.
Yeah.
But just being able to share that with, the impact that you've done, and that we all love your work. We love what you've done, which, we love that you're great right now, the whole shebang. And just big you up, saying, because you deserve it, you know what I'm saying? And Thanks. I love the fact that you're still doing what you want to do. You're living life in your own terms, and you're happy, so and it's a great thing. So it's much praise to you.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it, man. That honestly means a lot. I definitely take that, and you've made me think about a few things I haven't considered before on this podcast. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, man. You deserve it, bro. You put in the work, you put in the hours, you put the time in. You did it. You did get what is it? Kevin Smith says you did the Lord's work. You've done the Lord's work. So, and we just want to, that's why I like doing this show and try to talk to people, the actors and whatnot that I've grew up watching, and it's just like, dude, you don't know how much you've done for X amount of people, over the years, and still doing. You don't know because you got new kids coming up and they know about Jonny Tsunami, so
right.
Might not get the residuals that you want,
yeah.
But the impact is still there all these years, so. And I hope like more people get to see you at the cons or whatever you do. But this is just a little piece just to show you, like, we here for you. We here for you. We big you up. We give you all the praise, bro.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
Man, is there anywhere people want to reach you that you want to put out? Or
Flip Phone Confessional is the podcast. Reach out. Jess and I definitely check on those and comments. Love to kind of like engage and respond to people there. Brandon Be Good is my Instagram. A lot of people flood that. Brandon Baker Ceremonies. For those that want to get married, I am a wedding officiant. I marry people honestly all around the States and now internationally, and love to do that when I'm available. Love to be there for people on the big day. That's a really cool random thing that I'm doing with my life now. Those are 3 spots where you can reach out and find me. And honestly, I like I said before, the thing that I loved about acting was getting to access so many different types of people, getting to learn about kind of the world through the lens of other people. And that's something that I still care about now. Love getting to know people for like their wedding day, hear about like their different like love stories and getting to be part of that. That's also why we still do Flip Phone Confessional. While I'm here with you now, is like I just love meeting new people, creating new relationships. So yeah, if you want to hit me up and reach out, I'm always available.
Hey, you heard it here, and just let you know, whenever I do find that person, I knew who I want to get married. I want who's to marry.
Yeah, man.
I know. I'm going to.
I'll let you, boy.
I got you. Thank you, bro. Oh my God, this has been a great one. This has been. I've been waiting for this all day. This is like, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be really cool. And I just appreciate you hopping on and giving some time out and to be on here and let the people see you and just like, just like I said, give you your flowers, bro. But man, just This is it. I don't know what to say. Just this is BearatNight podcast.
Hell yeah, let's go.
I'm Jurassic Parker. This is the Brandon Baker. Okay, just let you know. If you want to get married by Mowgli, if you want to get married by Jonny Tsunami, okay, this is the guy you want to go to. I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly.
How awesome is that going to be? Just to tell your friends, Jonny Tsunami got me, married me. I'm just saying. So just thank you so much for being on, and guys, links in the description below and all that good stuff. And yeah, bear it all, be yourself. That's the tag. And we'll see you next Tuesday. And thank you guys, and see you later. Thank you, Brandon.
Peace. Thanks, man.
Baker. Thank you.
Thanks, man.